Hi, today I'm explaining you how ELECTRE works. So first we're gonna start off with a matrix which contains the real values. And so here you put in the different options you have. So for example, different crops, which you want to compare and where you want to, from which you want to know which are the most important crops to plant. Here you put in the criteria under which you want to compare the different options. So for example, here we have the cost for the seeds and here we have the irrigation demand. And then based on that, you actually make the other matrix, which is like the weighted matrix. These values in here, you go from 0 to 1, and 1 is the highest value, like the highest value, and 0 is like the lowest. So like when it doesn't fulfill your criteria, then it gets 0, and if it's like really good in that criteria, then it gets like a 1. So for example, here we have like a really low irrigation demand, and therefore it has like a 0.8. And here it has like a really high irrigation demand in comparison to the others, so therefore it gets like a 0.2. So basically it's like kind of like how you feel like, but at the same time based on also real values. And then for the weights, you actually decide, okay, how important is this criteria for me? And so these weights, they have to add up to 1. Like here in this example, it is more important, like the costs were more important than the irrigation demand, and therefore it's like a 0.6 for costs and like a 0.4 for irrigation demand. Then we start with the concordance matrix. So for the concordance matrix, we compare the left side with the upper side. So you want to know, like, is A1 taller than A2? That's the reason also why I put in this sign. Because if A1 is taller than A2 in here, so we compare these, then we add, like we put in the weights. And if it is taller than A2, actually in like the two columns, then we sum them up, so then it's like 1. So for example, in this case, like A1 is taller than A2 only for the criteria 2, and therefore we just put in 0.4. And then we continue with A3. And so like, for example, here in A3, we see that A1 is actually 2 times smaller than A3, and therefore we do not put in a value. And then when we continue with A4, we see that A1 is just for criteria 2 taller, and therefore we put in 0.4. And then we start with the discordance matrix. For the discordance matrix, you actually want to compare them again, but now it's like the other way around. So like now A1 has to be smaller than A2 for this one. And if it's happening, like if A1 is smaller than A2, you actually look like how much the difference is, and then you take the highest difference. So there's no summing up. You just take only the highest difference between A1 and A2. So for example, A1 is smaller than A2. Yes. And here we have like a 0.1, here 0.1. So we put in 0.1. Because like here it is taller, so therefore there's like we don't use it. Then we look for this one. So here we have A1 is smaller than A3 again, And here actually we have a difference of 0.5. And here it's just a difference of 0.2. And therefore we put in the 0.5 because the 0.5 is taller than 0.2. And that's how it works. So let's just do another value like A2 and A4. So for example, we now go to this side. So we take, like, because now we were just on the top and now we're on the bottom. So we take A4 is smaller than A2. A4 is smaller than A2. Here it's not. Here it is. And it's like 0.3 smaller than A2. Because 0.5 minus 0.2 is 0.3. So therefore we put in a 0.3. And that's what you do for the whole discordance matrix. And then we have this as a result. So now you have the concordance and the discordance matrix. So what we're doing now is we decide on a criteria for the discordance and concordance matrix. So for example, C, like for C, all the values have to be higher than 0.5. And then for the discordance matrix, the same. And as far as I remember, this and this has to add up to 1. So when you decide here that it has to be like taller than 0.4, then here would be taller or the same as 0.6. So it has to add up to 1. So yeah, so then everything which is taller or the same as 0.5, we color so that we just, see it. So the reason why we call it the discordance matrix is because whenever the discordance matrix fulfills this criteria, and it also fulfills the same criteria in the concordance matrix. So for example, here would be a value which is like 0.7. Then we actually have to cross this out because it is higher also in here, or it was also higher in here. Here we can actually see that there's like no value, like we cross out this and this, but there's actually no value inside, so it's fine. So now we're gonna start to compare the different criteria, and we do that by looking into the different cells which are colored. So for example, this one. So this one is A2 is taller than A1. So we can write down A2 taller than A1. Then this one, like this one, is A3 is taller than A1. And that's what we do for all of them. So then A4 is taller than A1. Then we have here this one, A3 taller than A2, A4 taller than A2. And for the last one, we have, like this one, we have A3 taller than A4. And then actually we can start to organize them. So we already see that A1 is the smallest value. So we're going to start with A1 is smaller. Then let's see. Then A2 is smaller than A3 and A4. So therefore it is like this. So that A2 is taller than A1 but smaller than the rest. And then we see here that A3 is taller than A4. So therefore we have A3 taller than A4. And then this is what we have as a result. So if it's crops, then we would say, okay, we're taking now A3 and A4. And A2 and A1 would be under the given criteria worse than A3 and A4. So therefore we have our result.